Today we learn about leadership from one of the best. Kyle Ahrens played for Hall of Fame coach Tom Izzo at Michigan State. Coach Izzo made players feel at home, and this applies to how we lead our team at work, at home, wherever it might be. Kyle also handled and faced a lot of adversity, broken bones, setbacks, other challenges, created doubt. And what are the lessons we can all learn from that? Because I think we can. One of the things that we talked about is how do you balance anxiousness with never being satisfied? Because I think that's a fine line. And finally, Kyle recently got a call from Coach Izzo. And I think what happened on that call and the reason for that call can teach us so much about leadership that we can all apply. Stick around for that. It's a great discussion. Mr. Kyle Ahrens. Kyle, how are you doing today?
Hey, Phil, doing really well. Appreciate you taking the time and allowing me to come on the podcast.
Kyle, tell us more about your backstory, kind of your upbringing and how you developed your values, because we kind of talked about it on the pre-show a little bit.
Born and raised in Versailles, Ohio. Being around this area, you kind of get instilled the values that you talked about, your grit, your discipline, your responsibility. So, as I continue to evolve and know that basketball is something that I wanted to do at the next level, I had the opportunity when I would go on college visits. Michigan State just felt like home. I remember going there on a Sunday afternoon for their practice and, got out of our van and told my mom, this feels like home. It was a nice sunny day, like 65 degrees. And it was during the fall where the leaves were turning a little bit. So, making that was one of the best decisions I ever made as I continue to go through college. We can get into that. And, spent 9 years in Michigan from the start of college all the way till after. My wife is also from Versailles, Ohio. So, we started dating freshman year of high school all the way through. And then we were married after my fourth year of college. She ended up being a teacher at a private Catholic school in East Lansing. And then during COVID, that's when we started. She decided to stay home with our newborn and then started her own business. And then I kind of went into the supply chain operation side of a business. And after 2 kids and doing the 7 days a week with, family not around, we decided to pack our things up a month. It was a month after our decision and moved home. So I love being back home, love the area. It's a lot of like-minded people.
Yeah. So I want to talk. So you talked about your decision to go to Michigan State and it felt like home. You talked about, being in the Midwest in general and the weather, but we talked a little bit about this and you told me this before, just what piece or what role did Tom Izzo play in making you feel like it was home or felt like home?
Yeah. So one of the things that stick out the most for me was when I did visit, he brought me into his office. His office sits on he has kind of like an outdoor patio right outside his office. He's standing there and there's intramural football leagues going on across the street at a grass area. And he told me, this is home for me. I've been offered so many other opportunities, other jobs, and I've turned them down. So just let that stick with you. It's a coach that's going to be here all the years that you're here. And that really stuck with me. I wanted someone that's committed to where I was going. And, that transition's hard when you're dealing with other coaches, you're building new relationships. And, so that's one thing that really stuck with me.
Yeah. And then as you got into college, you went there, so you felt good about it. You obviously went there. What was unique about his style or Michigan State, or what did you learn? What did you really learn there, or what did reinforce that, maybe you learned when you were younger, but it really, reinforced those lessons from your childhood?
Yeah. It's the never satisfied feeling. A lot of times we go about our day where we sit on the couch and we relax a little bit. And at the end of the day, you feel like you put a hard days of work in, you relax. He's someone that doesn't relax. I mean, his off time is watching film. I mean, he's got a shower in his office for a reason. He's got his own couch. That guy is the hardest worker I've ever been around in my life. And that's something he has helped me, being from Versailles, Ohio. It's our parents, our area preach that, the hard work. Make sure if you do a job, do it right. Otherwise, you're going to redo it. And that's why I fit really well in that Michigan State kind of culture. Is just the relentlessness of doing things the right way and being a star at whatever role I was playing on the court. We would have meetings all the time. Coach would ask what my thoughts are about playing a certain position. I had to play the 4 my sophomore year, and he brought me in his office. What do you feel about playing the big? And I just told him I just want to be on the court. Whatever that is, whether I know it's not point guard, but if I had to be point guard, if I had to play the 5 position, which I did have to go into the 5 position that year, where I had to guard Isaac Haas at 7'2" or 7'3", and it was pretty rough. But just being able to have the opportunity to be on the court, that's all I wanted.
Yeah. So the level of loyalty and commitment and kind of that never satisfied feeling, like how do you reconcile never satisfied with for yourself, I would say. So hard work, relentlessness, but also, okay, we do that. And then at home, we're not going to work. You got young kids, right? We got families. So how do you reconcile how he approached it, or how do you do it? Do you want to do it the same way? Do you think about a little bit differently?
Yeah, I do it. For me, what works best is the hard work doesn't stop at home. There's no really time to relax. It's, breaking up your day where when I am at home, it's spending time with my kids. It's doing one extra thing that I didn't want to do the day before. That's kind of a mindset I have taken since moving home, with the ages my kids are, is when I go home and, they want to wrestle and you're just dead tired, you just want to relax a little bit. Just that one little extra positive thing to go by when you go to bed or something, and, spend 15 minutes to play a game with them. It's one extra thing you didn't do the day before, and you go to bed feeling accomplished because you did that extra thing. So, and that kind of comes from being around the area in Versailles. The people are never satisfied, and they're always working. They always have each other's backs. It's very relationship driven area. We're all supporting each other, and that's what coming into a community, going through college, I had a lot of injuries going through college, and what really got me through all of them was going back to my community, having a wife from the area, having a really close family that always had my back, that allowed me to continue to push through the physical therapy side and continue to want to keep doing basketball after, my second foot surgery. So the close knit feeling.
Did you lose 2 seasons?
I lost one full season. So I broke my 5th metatarsal. I fractured it, had surgery in August. This was right after you spent a whole summer of working your butt off, had a really good summer. Had a chance to be in the rotation going into junior year. That was the year we were with Jaron Jackson, Miles Bridges, had a really good class, and broke my 5th metatarsal in August, the last week of summer kind of workouts before we went home. Had surgery that next morning, went back home, therapy all the way up till September, my first day of practice, full go. I swept baseline and it popped again and broke. So I had surgery that night again, or the next morning, and then was out for the year.
So talk about your mindset, whether it was, I would say whatever the low point was after the first or probably after the second. Because after the first one, you injure it, but you're like, okay, I can be back in under 2 months and I'm not going to lose the season. But then the second one happens. What's going through your head?
After the first one, honestly, it was the worst because it felt like I was getting behind. You're preparing for your season. Once you go through an injury, it usually takes double the amount of time that you were out to get back. That's something that timeline I looked at. So when that first one happened, it was, you go home, you're sitting in your apartment. All you could do is lift, ride a bike with your arms, or we had the zero gravity treadmill that I would run all the time during practice. And then you have to sit there and watch, which is hard to do for me, rather than being out there and to be involved. So after that second one, it was kind of okay, take your time coming back, do it the right way. come back at the best opportunity possible, and don't come back too early. So after the second one, it kind of escalated to that fourth year where it was, in my opinion, my best year that I had at Michigan State.
Yeah. Well, obviously a lot of adversity that you faced there. Tell me about, so tell me more about Izzo, behind the scenes, or whether it's we've all seen him just letting you have it. Yeah. I guess, is there a story where he just let you have it, and was it so much respect where just talk me through that.
I don't know if it's appropriate.
Don't use the words. Don't use the words.
No, I mean, that was the first time. I remember my first week on campus. Matt McQuaid was my college roommate all 4 years, and we sat beside each other. And that's what also made the unique experience. The guys I came in with are still some of my best friends today. They were all at my wedding. So we're still a really close knit group of guys. So first week we were there, we sit down, and Izzo at summer camps first, we show up, I want to say 30 minutes before practice, which you would think 30 minutes of practice, I was always taught show up early, but over 30 minutes is really early. So we made sure we showed up. We forgot one of our roommates, Deontay Davis, back at we had to stay in a hotel at the time. Showed up, we're all on the court, and the coaches are like, where's Didi at? And we're like, he's back at the hotel. We just came over. We wanted to get some treatment early. And he goes, you guys don't come here unless you guys are all together. If you're late, you're showing up late together. So it was just kind of one of those things where you get adjusted to not only thinking about yourself, it's thinking about others and that leadership kind of part of it. So you're dragging people along with you. Every time we went to the gym, if you showed up by yourself, coach didn't like it. Drag an extra guy with you. Yeah. Because when you guys work together, you work harder. So there's just a lot of different things that.
What I was going to say there is a couple things. First of all, I think there's just so much power in when, you talked about lifelong friends, guys that are in your wedding, close knit group. And when you go through adversity together, when you grow together, I think that just creates a bond. And I encourage people, this is a basketball analogy, right? Or this is a basketball team and situation, but that doesn't need to be different than not even just work, but your life in general. We all have different challenges in every single area of life. Yep. And are you growing with another group of people or not? And if you are, you're going to celebrate, you're going to be there for them when they struggle. You're going to pick them up. You're going to celebrate when they win, and they're going to pick you up and carry you when you're struggling too. And you can just it's not just, the relationships, which are extremely important, but also the compounding, the accountability, the gratitude you get when you do things together. And in my mind, I think this is where most people miss it, is in every single area of life, right? You should apply this to every single area of life, because I think it's so impactful. And the second thing is, from a business lens, I think you're only as strong as your, I'll say, weakest link. And you weren't saying that, that situation where Didi, I think you said, was late was because he was the weakest link or he did anything wrong. Mm-hmm. It's just that Tom Izzo set that precedent very early on that we are a team, we will do things together. And I just think in the work environment, if you're looking out for yourself and how can I get ahead and step on people to get up, you can do that in short term. That might help you a little bit, maybe, but that's very temporary. That is not going to last. The more, there's a Zig Ziglar quote, the more people you help up, the more if you want everything you want in life, help other people get what they want. Right.
And winning's fun. Winning's fun when it's together. You know what I mean? So if you're part of a business, it's fun to see other people have success with you. I think that's what makes a great culture and a great team. Coach used to always preach for guys that wanted to play at the next level. If we're all winning, it opens up avenues for everyone. When we lose, there may be one or two guys that have avenues, but there are 3 or 10 get stuck having to work harder to find that avenue after. So when you win, it's fun to do it together, and that's what coming back home, even in East Lansing, that is the mentality. People are helping people and finding ways to win together.
Yep. Well, I can't imagine the other stories. So you didn't tell me though. So the first week he kind of set an example, but that was to everybody. But when did he get in your face and like spare me the exact word maybe, but
I would say one that comes to mind is sophomore year. It was the first game. It was my first career start. Miles Bridges was out with an injury, and Izzo's not the tallest human being. So usually when he gets mad, he puts his forehead right to your chest, or he grabs your jersey and he's right there and saying words that I'm not going to repeat. But with all that said, you go back to the relationship guy that he is. I mean, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, let's say last September, he called me. He has no business calling me. I don't play basketball anymore. I go up to alumni events. But he called me asking me how I'm doing, what I'm up to, how's my kids. That's what separates him to this current culture is he cares about guys that have been in this program. He cares about guys coming back. And that's the culture at Michigan State. It's guys that come back. It's guys that create that relationship that continue to go back.
It's the reason I love that story so much is, so first of all, the quote that comes to mind is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So like his authority to have an impact when he's ripping your, is because, he cares. Like if he's not the relationship guys, if it's just what's in it for him and he rips you, it's not going to connect and it's going to be like, you're a jerk. Right. Whereas because of the relationship, because of the connection, because, he cares. Like a lot of times when people get frustrated with you, or if you get frustrated with people, if it's because you care so much, that's going to just hold way more weight. The other thing I love about like him calling you is what did he have to gain from that? Right. So like you could question him maybe early on when you're in high school, him calling you, oh, well, he's recruiting me. Right. But for him to be calling you years after your career's over there and say, hey, how's it going? How's the family? Like that, to me, that says way, way more because like that proves that's just who he is as a person. He's not trying to get an outcome out of that, but that's who he is. And I think that's so important is if we just do the right thing, by the way, he does that. Maybe somebody hears this and they're like, oh, he's a good person. And like, he has built his reputation because he's done that over and over again consistently, I'm sure, but he's not calling you to build his reputation. He's calling you because he cares, because it's the right thing to do. That is really, really powerful.
Yeah. And he knows the guys that go through that program. It's a hard program to go through. You get challenged at every aspect of the game, at every aspect of your mental capacity. So, to make it through there 5 years, he earns respect for guys that go through go learn from him. He gains that respect. And he's the first person there that if you need him there, he's going to show up.
Right. How frustrating. I've had this conversation lately. Like, how frustrating was it when you're in it? Like, I really have to go do this. Like, this seems ridiculous. This seems over the top. Because I think like discipline is hard, but I think we need discipline and we need to be held accountable to discipline. And it makes us feel so much better, even though it's hard in the moment. We're always grateful we did it. But how hard was it, and how even frustrating was it to say, really we have to, this seems ridiculous. Were there things like that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. At that level of college basketball, you have to love the game. We would always preach, you either like it or love it. People that like it tend to not be around. People that love it tend to be around. So you have to really love the game and love doing what you're doing to show up every single day. And to say it wasn't hard is an absolute lie. It was really hard, to even during the summer, you're getting up, going to 5 a.m. lifts, going to tutor, going to class, going back to tutor, back to class, going back to tutor.
Full time. I mean, big time, full time.
Yeah. It's 7 days a week too, so your Sundays, you have team meetings, you're doing individual workouts to better yourself as well. It's a 7-day week job on top of, just the basketball portion is more than a job.
Yeah.
Well, how did the school on top of it too?
Yeah. How did the transition from that environment and like go to the business. Did you continue that when you got into the business world, or what did you take there and start to apply it in the business world?
Yeah, right away. So, going from that during COVID, where everything was shut down at home, it was just a time of kind of, just everything. I was losing my mind at home. I didn't know what to do. So would find things to do. But yeah, afterwards, it's the same mentality. That's what Izzo preaches 7 days a week. It's every single day. That mind's always going. You're always finding ways to improve. And if you're not, people are going ahead of you. So it's that state of competitiveness that he really instills. And, I go back to my childhood. That's kind of how my dad raised me as well. That constant, hey, when you're stuck at home, you're sitting on the couch, he's asking you to go do something outside. You're always going, you're always improving, you're always finding ways to improve. And he's finding ways that you screw up, that way you learn,
Yeah. Last night, by the way, the Reds are on right now. They're doing well. And, my boys are 8 and 10, and the 8-year-old's like, Dad, can we turn the Reds on? Can we turn the Reds on? I'm like, okay, you can turn it on, you can turn on mute, but if you get stuck in here, you can peek at the score. So then we go outside, we're doing something, I come back in, and he's just, if you give a boy a TV of any sort with anything moving on the screen, no matter what it is, they just get they're in comatose. They get locked in, right? But it's so important. Hey, buddy, it's nice outside. Go, instead of watching baseball, go play baseball, go shoot a basketball, go do something outside, play with your sisters, which doesn't happen, if I ask them to. But anyway, and I think that's just the best thing about our area is when it's nice out, or even what I love, honestly, is when it's 30 degrees or 20 degrees and windy and cold, there's kids outside and maybe they have shorts on and no hat, and maybe we're not the best parents all the time. But there's just kids, get your kids outside, get outside, go play, just be out there, and just no parents, just do their thing and figure it out.
And it's hard nowadays too. Everything's evolving. There's more access to, watch whatever show you want, or it's easy as a parent, now being a parent, just turn on the TV, just let the kids stop fighting and watch TV instead of, we're taking initiative of when they're arguing, just go outside. Go run around. That's what my mom used to do. We grew up with 5 boys in our family and 1 girl. And, anytime there was arguing, go outside. Yep. Just go outside. Go settle it outside. My mom bought a trampoline when we were kids for $25 on Facebook Marketplace. And we played a game called Fun Ball Football. And we were hitting each other off. There was no net on it. We're hitting each other off the trampoline. And we sat around our patio the other night last Friday, and we talked about how much that trampoline did for us as brothers. Just go out there and play together and build a bond. Right. It's some of the best memories we have growing up. So it's not sitting around a TV. It's, going playing games or making up a game.
And that, we're talking about basketball and 7 days a week, and it's hard and all this stuff. I just for the parents out there listening to this, parenting is hard. It's 7 days a week. Yeah. It's 24/7. They might wake up at 10 p.m. They might wake up at midnight, 2 a.m. And the easy thing to do, this is where as adults with little kids, we have to resist the easy thing to do, which is turn the TV on, let them watch that. I'm not saying no cartoons, nothing ever, but if they're just doing that for 2, 3, 4 hours a night, you only have a couple hours a night. If that's what they're doing in the evening. And honestly, in my opinion, there's way too much of it. There's just way too much of the easy button. It's not good for the kids, and it's just too easy. And get them outside, and you don't get them outside, spend time with them. It's just, to me, so critical. And we fall all the time. We mess up all the time. I'm not trying to project anything on anyone, but it's just hard.
Yeah, today's day and age, it's even harder just with the access that we have to things. It's the easy button. It really is. And, that's where my wife and I, we took a step back, and, there was a point where we felt like they were just watching TV, for an hour, 2 hours a day, and just so we can go get work done. I'm like, let's change this. Let's make them earn it. Let's make them reward themselves to watch, 20 minutes before we get ready for bed.
Yep.
So we kind of took that initiative the last couple months, but it's hard as a parent just with the access.
And by the way, the other thing that I struggle with is all of a sudden I'll tell them not to do that. And I'm on catches my on my phone, and like all of a sudden I'm doing it. And like, I'm okay. I can say whatever I want to them, but when I'm on my phone and I'm doing the same thing I'm telling them not to do, they're watching me. They're not listening to me. Like, they don't want to listen. They want to see what I'm doing and see if I'm modeling it. And if I mess that up all the time too.
Yeah. We were downstairs the other day, and we have a little hoop that my son shoots on quite a bit. It's one of those that extend pretty high. So it's a decent sized rim. And I was sitting there, looking at, he's 3. He just turned 3 in December, sitting there looking at a message that I had, and he tends to throw the ball without me looking, and it usually catches me off guard.
Yep.
He threw it at me. Phone fell out, water spilled all over the place, everything. And he goes, "Dad, get off your phone." I'm like, "You're right. You're right. Way to hold me accountable. I like it."
How's his jump shot looking?
He's pretty talented. I know he's only 3, but he's got good form. He's always challenging himself to shoot back further. And, he tried to put the ball between his legs the other day. He's trying to watch that. Every time I watch a basketball game, he'll watch it for a couple of minutes and then do exactly what the guys do and then fall down and say, "and one." So, but it's fun. It's fun to watch, your kid enjoy something that you also enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, by the way, boys, so we have 2 boys and they get to do all this stuff. It just lets me act like a kid again. And maybe that's just the excuse I needed, but I get to act like a kid again all the time. So, I enjoy that. So, all right, I'll bring this back. So business wise, you have all these lessons you learn, you start to apply these in the business world, kind of fast forwarding more to today and what you're up to now. How are you trying to apply these things and what you're doing today? Tell us more about what you're doing now and how you're trying to apply what you learned.
Yeah, and I'm an employee benefits consultant here at Phelan Insurance in Versailles, Ohio. We've been family owned and operated for a little over 75 years. So my role, there is no ceiling, which I love. I'm socializing, I'm networking, I'm meeting people. Having that access or that ability to do that as a job excites me. When I get to work with business owners, we design their benefits to, help cut costs, look at employee retention or how to gain employees, because benefits are a big selling point of joining a company. So, sitting down, having that mentality of there's always improvement. And it goes back to, my college days or even before my college days being around here. The second you sit and relax, someone's going to beat you. So there's always ways to improve something or better something. And I love that about a business. People, like if you're around business owners, their mind's always going. Their mind's always like, okay, how can we do this process better? And I love being around that type of mindset and learning and implementing that into my everyday.
Yeah. I think, by the way, I've talked about this before, but sales roles, and especially if sales roles where you get the opportunity to work with, entrepreneurs, business owners, just other senior folks at different companies is just a great way to learn. And I think it can be really rewarding because you're there to solve a problem that a small business owner just really doesn't understand that well or know how to solve. And it's not one size fits all. You need to really customize the solution based on what they're looking for. So, what do you think is going to be, Phelan has been around for a long time. They've had a lot of success. They're a great company, but what is Kyle Ahrens like? How are you going to be successful over the course of your career? Like, what do you think the keys to that are going to be?
Yeah, I think, there was a pull for me to move back home to Versailles, Ohio to do more in the community. And that's something that I lack in currently and I'm trying to be more involved. Just being from this area, it's an area I was raised and everyone had my back. So I need to have theirs too. So being more involved in the community, that's something that'll fill my bucket. Finding ways to continue to connect with business owners around the area. I'm trying to work up towards the East Lansing market as well. That is home for me as well. That's a second home for me. That's where we had our first 2 kids. That's where I spent 9 years of my life, 5 years in college. So it is a second home. So this role allows me to continue that network up there while continuing to network here as well. And,
yep.
and to that continuous loop of finding ways to improve in a different market, you know?
How will you, like, if you look back 5 years, 10 years, okay, I was successful because why?
My relentlessness. All I wanted to do was win. I didn't care how we won. As long as the score sheet said W, it was a win. You know, a lot of times you get in this concept, even when, you know, the team wins and you play bad. Yeah, you're frustrated, but at the end of the day, you had a W. Learn from your mistakes, move on to the next, you know. Yeah. Don't make the same mistake twice. So that same kind of mentality, I want to continue winning with this team and continue that kind of mindset.
The outcome I want to win, mm-hmm. but I can't control that always. And I know that might be like a conflict. I can control what I do. The way I think about what you said is you're not going to win every single time, mm-hmm. every single moment. But if you're relentless, if you are open-minded, if you're curious, if you gain feedback from the losses, you will win over time. So, and you can control that. You can control relentlessness, right? You can't always control the victory. You're going to have losses. But is that, like, from an athlete's perspective, even, is that how you think about it, or was it taught differently even to you?
Yeah, it was controllables, right? So control the effort you're putting in, leave that, you know, that game, leave your day of work knowing you gave it your all, and whatever happens, that next step, if it doesn't go your way, there's no regret. You know, when you don't put in the work and you're hoping at the end of a meeting or any part of life, that sense of regret comes in because you feel like you could have done more. So control the controllables, you know, and sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way in life. So, and that's out of your control. That's something that you can go to sleep at night knowing that it is what it is. But if it's something where you were outworked, that's a controllable.
Right. And I think I think control and ownership is honestly, it's a very complex topic. And there's a fine line between I own every single outcome I get and I own what I control. But if you say I don't own the outcome, like if you don't take ownership of that, that's a dangerous thing to give you an excuse to not do what you really can control. Like you don't. So there's a really a balance here. Like sometimes I'm on the spectrum of, no, I need to completely control the outcome no matter what, but I don't really have full control, but I want it. And I think for a lot of business leaders and entrepreneurs, like we want to control everything. Mm-hmm. So there's just a fine line between, like, it is a complex topic of what I control and the outcomes. Like it's just complex.
And the card you get dealt sometimes, not the right card, but you're finding a different avenue to deal with that. So, you know, that's why, you know, our area is so much fun because people are finding efficient ways to better a process because the original process isn't as good as what can be the next step. You know, they're finding ways to always improve. And sometimes you're not given the right hand that you have to deal with it.
Yeah, I love that. And again, I think it's not that, like, the regret doesn't come from not getting the exact outcome. Yeah. The regret comes from when I didn't do what I could have done, and I know it, and that's why I didn't get the right outcome. That's why
sitting in a meeting and not being fully prepared, you know, on every slide of that meeting that you are presenting, you know, what you could have done better. Why not spend an extra 15 minutes earlier, go over every slide, have your note cards ready. That way, when you're in that meeting, everything's just fluent, and then you have more action items and next steps for everyone in that meeting. So
yeah, I had someone come on that talked about like how much time in sports you spend preparing, and then you go you go to the game. Well, in the business world, if you just show up to the sales call with no preparation, you're not going to have success. So yeah, I like that a lot. And you know, there's just like. We also often regret, short term, we might regret how we did something, but long term, we regret what we didn't do, the actions we didn't take. And I tend to make those like the big regrets, which over time, the bigger ones, but also like I just didn't prepare enough last week. I should have prepared. Like that can be the small things that we didn't do that we should have done as well. On the other hand, I'll also say that, okay, don't regret it too much. Take the outcome and what we didn't get as feedback and just adjust and adapt, right? Don't get consumed in the past. We can't do that either. So that's why, like, we could talk about this topic of what we control, outcomes, regret all day long. It's complex, but okay, learn from it, move on, and do it the right way the next time.
Yeah. And you know, it's okay to fail. At least you tried, you know. It's when you fail doing the same thing twice. That's the true failure. You know, failure is the stepping stone to success. So, with that mentality, it's, you know, going from college basketball, doing everything that way into the business world, you know, it was a big jump and a big step for me. You know, adjusting to when I used to run meetings, I'd never ended with, you know, the action items, or no one knew what the action items were. Leaving that meeting, it felt like that meeting was useless. And going back, it's like, I'm glad I learned that lesson then. You know, in a business kind of mindset. And now every meeting that I have a few action items that I have to do, and I call them out at the end of a meeting. Hey, this is the action items. Is there anything else that we need to do for next steps? That way we know the next steps, it's written down, it's done, and we have a plan.
Yeah. You know, I just did a talk with a local company yesterday. I talked to their employees about just leadership and personal development and, you know, applying leadership to every area of life. But at the end, I learned from it. Like I didn't have just something to give them that they could put in place right now. I mean, the same thing you kind of just said, like I didn't have that. So, okay, shoot, I didn't do it. Could have I done that? I could have. So do I regret it? I could have done it. More importantly, don't quit. Don't not do it again because of that. I think two failures are: one, don't learn from it. So next time, do it, fix it, correct it. And worse is, you could have got punched in the face in a sales call. It could have went really, really bad. Are you going to quit? Are you going to stop? Like that's the biggest failure. Is it, even if it takes you 3 or 4 times to learn, like hopefully it doesn't. Yeah. But the biggest thing is like the biggest failure is not taking action, not going out there, because that's the real preparation. That's the real training ground, I think.
And learning how to deal with failure a little bit, or, you know, the next step on, if I run into that same situation, how am I gonna be in a position to make improvement during that meeting, during that call, during, I don't know, maybe I think my son we were out digging dirt the other day, and you know, it's funny, as a 3-year-old, he's sitting there, he has this little truck that, you know, I'm sitting there shoveling as a dad, I want to get this thing done as quick as possible. And he's sitting there as this little tractor that fills up, you know, a few inches of dirt and pours it in the wheelbarrow. And it was 3 or 4 times that he scooped it and he poured it without it in the wheelbarrow. It fell out. It's like, okay, Liam, let's slow down. Let's pour it. Let's make the dirt in the wheelbarrow. He does it. He goes, look, Dad, I did it. I'm like, good job. Learn from the past. You didn't do it last 3 times. Now you got it. So
exactly. Well, I think, you know, just the topic of learning from failures. I think Father Cromley, who I follow, I'd encourage anyone to follow him if like from a faith-based business perspective, but he says, like, and this ties to failures. The problem isn't having problems. The problem is having a problem with having problems. Like we're all going to have problems. We're all going to have challenges, but how we deal with it. And I think the more we are courageous and take action, we're not trying to fail, but the more we fail the more we learn how to manage failure, which means our capacity for failure and setback grows, which means we're willing to take more risks or put ourselves in situations that challenge us to grow more. Because really, if you look at it at a very individual level, in my opinion, our goal, like our real goal, isn't success. It's become the best version of ourselves. And the best way to do that is to try to educate ourselves, get help from other people, your teammates or whomever, and then take action, have courage, go do those things. And if we keep doing that cycle, we will keep growing and become better versions of ourselves over time. And you're going to have failures in that process 100%, but we have to keep moving and keep going, and our capacity to handle those things will continue to grow.
Yeah. And taking one extra thing you didn't want to do that day and do it. That's one thing that I put in my kind of mind going to college was, a lot of times it was didn't want to go work out on a Sunday afternoon. Just do one extra thing, go there, get some shots up, feel good about your day, leave. And even in the business world, there's a lot of things we don't want to do, a lot of things that take time. But if you start it, a lot of times with our mentality, we're going to finish it. So that process of starting is the hardest process usually. And once you start it, you're going to finish it.
Take the first step, and you can't connect the dots forward. I love that. The other thing I'll add to that, we could I love this back and forth. It's like a banter, but this is great is courage. Like I love the word courage. I love the word courage, but courage can feel like a very big word that, we have to have this huge courageous action. And what I like about what you said is no, courage is just get it, not hitting snooze. Courage is just walk into the gym or step on the treadmill. Like it's the small things daily that add up to big results, in my opinion, is just do that one extra thing that day, that morning. And by the way, like you talked at the beginning of this discussion about, just relentless, always trying to get better. But I think there's a balance between that and not creating anxiousness too. Is I think the way we avoid anxiousness is if we're doing those things today, like in the moment now, then we can be at peace knowing that, okay, we don't have to we will figure those things out and just do it now, do it today. And then we can be at peace with that. And never, I forget how you said it, but never satisfied. Always wanting to grow. That is correct. However, if you're taking the actions to grow, you can be at peace and not have anxiousness or anxiety because you're on the right path. Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to the original point, it's something that's helped me is, whether it's with my kids, whether it's in my job, whether it's, doing yard work, it's do one extra thing that I didn't want to do, or one extra thing that I wouldn't have done yesterday.
Right.
It could have been, with the grass, finishing after I mow, do the weed whacking, finish it all at once. Do I want to weed whack my whole property? No, but starting that process, it's going to feel a lot better when I go to bed,
Yep.
Same thing in our job. Do I want to do this report? So, but yeah.
Yep. Courage in the small things. I love it. Well, Kyle, this has been absolutely fantastic. I appreciate, I think what I would say is, when you went to Michigan State, how you represented the area with your work, people saw you, they saw the adversity, you saw the challenges, the injuries, but the grind, the hustle, the grit mindset that I think people from this area are proud to say, hey, yeah, Kyle Ahrens, Michigan State was from our area. Right. And I think that's what separates the high school basketball, football, sports teams in our area, because they just work hard. The coaches don't have to that's just there's a standard that is set. That's why our sports teams are successful around this area. And that's why our businesses are generally successful, is that mindset and those values that you gained as a child and were reinforced at Michigan State, I think are so valuable to this area.
Yeah. And you brought up, people were proud of me being from this area. I was also proud to say I was from Versailles, Ohio too. So it kind of worked two ways. Every time I was up north and people pronounced it Versailles, it used to drive me nuts. They used to.
That's what I say when I'm talking about you. I was it's a French town. It's a French town south here. It's called Versailles.
But, I'm proud of where I come from. I'm proud of the community that, helped raise me. I'm proud of, the family that I grew up in. And when you go on and you move out of the area, and you learn the appreciation of the area. The people are so involved. It's awesome. Parents are picking up other kids to make practice. You don't get that everywhere. A community is behind every single one of us. You won't get that everywhere. And I'm not saying it's not like that elsewhere, because it is. East Lansing is that same way. And that's why I fell in love with it.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard to describe, but you put it extremely well. Kyle, I appreciate this so much. I want you to step back and reflect. Think about what your college career, your business career, what you're excited about, but step back and reflect. How does what you do, how does what you've done, how does it make you feel?
Excited. I'll say excitement. Spending 24 years of my life dribbling a basketball and thinking that was my path forward. When the ball stopped, the ball is going to stop bouncing one of those days. So it's positioning yourself to try new things, which was a hard thing for me to do outside of college with COVID. Everything was virtual. What's my next step? What do I do? And it's crazy to look back to not know, kind of given that direction, to not know what to do because there was no one to talk to. It was all virtual. So, trying new things, take it when you try a new job, take the things that you enjoy, and maybe there's another job that has more of those alignments with yourself that you can try in a different area, So it's just trying new things and bettering yourself each and every day, and finding things that give you excitement and wanting to continuously improve while being part of a good team.
Yeah, I love it, man. Kyle, how can people find out more what you're doing today? How can people find out more about you?
Reach out, come to Phelan Insurance. I'll be right in the front. So I'm sitting here. People can reach out to me on Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm really involved social media wise. So if people want to reach out, have a conversation, I always love helping people. So, there was a lot of people that helped me growing up. There's a lot of people that even through college, one of my mentors up north always said, I struggled asking for help. That's one thing I did struggle.
I think our area struggles with that a little bit.
Yeah. And, the guy, my mentor said, let us help you. That's how we get fulfillment too. So kind of taking that mentality, people want to help people. And that's kind of the mentality I'm taking. I want to help people. So a younger kid that's having a frustrated time in school, reach out to me. I want to have a conversation. That's part of why we're here, right? We're supposed to help the youth, help them get involved, help them, find their path, what their passion is. So, reach out to me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, anything.
Kyle, I love it. I think, sometimes we hesitate to reach out. We hesitate to help. To ask for help, and we got to recognize we're human and we need help. We really do need the help, whether that's in business, personally, whatever it might be. So I'm going to ask for help. So this was a great discussion. Share this episode with someone that you think would connect with. Kyle's a great role model, a great business guy in the area. And I'm excited to see what you do, but yeah, share this on YouTube, Apple, give it a 5-star review. I'm going to ask for your help to get this episode out because Kyle, I appreciate the value you brought today. For the Purpose Matrix, signing off.